What's up, Nibbles? Tito back with another goddamn fucking interview. And we got fucking Gene of Perdition Temple back for a second goddamn take. So, Gene, you guys played yesterday, huh?
Yeah, we were over on the power plant stage. I think we were the first band for the day on that stage over there. You know, so it was a bit of a trip playing. Historically, I haven't done a lot of outdoor shows.
Yeah.
So doing an outdoor one and it's broad fucking daylight was a bit of a trip. You know, no stage lights, nothing, and everything.
How was the crowd?
It was good. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was backed up. I saw some photos that people took, and I mean, it was backed up like about up to where the fountain is here.
Yeah.
You know, so that was nice.
Yeah.
You know, especially early set like that. You know, and that there was a good turnout for the set.
This is the first time you ever played MDF?
No. Technically now the third time. I mean, in 2016 we did MDF with those reunion Angel Corpse shows.
Okay.
And then 2018 with Perdition Temple. So now here it is. It's like 6 years since we were here last.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a minute, so it's cool to come back again.
Yeah, so you're not overplaying too. You know what I mean? You want to wear out your welcome. You know, because you play too often. You know, the fans are like this. You know, they've seen you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't want to be the band that you can predict that every year we're going to be on the bill.
Yeah. It's just like them again.
Right.
Yeah. So, what are you currently working on now? Are you working on more like Malefic Throne or
all of it?
What's that?
All of it.
All of it?
Like back to back. Right now I just track like John Longstreth had finished the drums for the Malefic Throne, and then I just about a month ago finished all my rhythm guitars. Steve's now got all of our shit, and now he's got to do his bass and vocals. So that's where we're at right now with that. So that should be finished maybe a month or two, then we mix it. And send that off to Gonia.
Yeah, Gonia obviously like really believed in you guys because cause we put out your EP, they gave you an offer, then I said I wouldn't refuse it, absolutely. That's pretty fucking cool that he liked it that much and believed in it. First goddamn camera walker. Thanks, buddy.
But what was really cool is the fact that you guys did the demo.
Oh, so you consider that a demo or just an EP or?
Well, because originally we were thinking of just doing a demo. I mean, those guys were saying, hey, maybe we should just put up like a Bandcamp link for the demo and shit. And I'm like, maybe I could talk to you guys and see if they might want to put it out as a release. And we did.
Yeah.
So that was a huge support. Which gave that EP a lot more exposure than us just putting up a fucking Bandcamp link and like just some digital copy shit. So it became like a hard copy release. I think it made the CD, the LP, and tapes. Yeah. So that was a really big boost that you guys gave us for that, and it led obviously to the connection that Philip from Begonia made us the offer.
Yeah.
So flash forward, we're about done with that record.
How many songs will that be?
It's like 8 songs.
8 songs, okay.
And then right behind that, after I get done with this, and in the midst of a few other shows we're doing in the next, like in August, we have another festival in Michigan. You guys are going to be there, the Evil War Fest. Yeah. That's just a great fucking lineup on that. Mm-hmm. A lot of friends there. But like right after that is like when I'm looking to like dig deep into finishing up the new PG.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so are you doing any Blasphemic Cruelty at all anymore?
No, that's gone, and the Apocalypse Command project is gone. It's like there were things that I tried to dip into with like a little bit of variances from the other main projects, but they kind of got away from me, and it's like I've just kind of let them go away now, and I just focus all the energy on the handful of projects that I'm on now. And I try to delegate what I do in each project, so it breaks them up a little bit. So it's like with Perdition Temple, I write all the music and I write all the lyrics. Yeah. So I mean, it's got that mark on it for me. With Malefic Throne, I don't write a lick of the lyrics. I'm just leaving that all up to Steve. And of course John comes up on those drum parts. I don't dictate anything.
Yes, it might be due for a repress. I mean, was Nuclear now that pressed the last pressing, right? Or what I love, the Blasphemy Cruelty, the Devil's Mayhem, the full length. It's called the Devil's Mayhem, right?
Well,
because I love that.
Osmos did the CD edition, and then WN did the LP.
Okay, and was it
both are out of print?
Yeah, well, they're pressed just once, right?
Just once.
You know, probably if you're up for it, maybe I'll give it another. Let it be out of print. Give it another 3 years or so. Maybe Hell should repress CD LP. Dude, I love that record. I thought it was awesome. Man. Yeah, because I'll be honest, the EP I liked it, but because didn't you change singers for the EP? It's a different singer on the EP than the full length, right?
No, it's Alex. That's our bass player for.
Okay, because I remember that EP. I'm like, it's not as good as the fucking full length. I got looked at the full length. Oh, this is fucking great.
Yeah, I mean the EP is the one that I did with you guys.
Yeah, I know. But the one we did, I know the one we didn't do. I like the better.
Right.
Yeah, the Devil's Bad. Like, because I had that. I think that was before. Shit, that might have been before we were working with you at all when that came out. When that was released.
Not at that point yet. No.
Yeah, and I was like, this is fucking great. And what stood out about it is the chick on drums too, because there's not too many chicks in death metal, and especially not as drummers.
Right.
Was Gina right?
Yeah. Her name is Gina.
Like, what's her deal? Like, she gets, you don't see too many death metal chick drummers. Like, she's still
it's not common.
She still do, like, how'd you meet her? Are you still in contact? Does she still do metal, or?
Yeah, she's moved on to other things. Her and her husband, I think, live up somewhere on the East Coast.
So doesn't like metal no more?
I haven't really been in touch with her for ages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you find her then for that?
She put up an ad in Tampa back in about 2006 or no, about 2003 or 4, when I was still making demos for the Blasphemy Cruelty stuff, and there was a little record store that had like a little bulletin board thing with like people putting up like wanted ads and shit, and there was an ad that she was a drummer and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that I checked it out, and we put together the stuff that we did. I thought there was some like really cool material that was done with that stuff, and I'm still proud of all those songs. And I tried to like make a little bit more of a naive sort of 80s sensibility to the writing to that one, not as abstract in the riffing, sometimes, but a little bit more leaning to like how like maybe like early Sodom, early Creator, where everything was still kind of based in like traditional type patterns for heavy metal riffs, just to break it up a little bit more from like what Angel Corpse maybe was doing at that time, because Angel Corpse at that point was still together.
Yeah.
And it was what it was when it was, but it just got away from us, like live shows were pretty limited, so it just eventually just kind of went away.
Yeah.
And really now, flash forward, some of the stuff that I maybe was doing in the way that my writing has evolved, like especially with like the Perdition Temple stuff, it's really kind of incorporated a bit of that, where it's like, even on like some of the recent Perdition Temple albums, people reference the fact that despite the fact that there's a lot of like bulldozer speed death metal going on, is that there's a lot of things that like harken back to like thrash metal, like the ugly, fast, demonic thrash metal that you had back in the 80s. So a little bit of like that influence of shit from what I was maybe trying to do with Blasphemy Cruelty has kind of found its later home in what I'm doing with Perdition Temple.
Okay.
So in a way, it's kind of almost removed the necessity of continuance with that anyways at this point, now all these years later.
Yeah.
But it was one of my chapters.
Yeah. How did you still look for the Malefic stuff? It's looked at as kind of like, it's one of those projects, bands that you have members that are all, I don't know if you want to call it legendary or just, but they have known status. How did that lineup become, like with Tucker and all that? Like, how'd you guys get together to decide to do this?
Well, I mean, all the three of us have been familiar for years.
Yeah.
Like going on almost 30 years now. Back to like.
But you've all done stuff, and like, since like it's kind of like to do something together, like, because you only had established shit. So.
But it came around like right into the early months of COVID.
Okay.
Where, like on social media, we were shooting the shit a little bit about, some like social media topic or something like about Hornets or something stupid. And then there's like somebody made a comment about, maybe make a band or something called that. And it was just like, ha ha ha. But, you know, about a week later, I messaged John and I'm like, you know, what would happen if, you know, you and I, and if we could maybe get Steve to actually fucking do something, you know, not just be like, ha ha ha, like what if we made a band, you know, like we could actually do some pretty good shit, I think, you know, and the differences that come from, you know, like the way Steve does vocals is a lot, the way he lays his lyrics out to the riffs is a lot different than I would do, you know, so that alone is going to change it up sound-wise compared to, like, say, Perdition Temple. It's not going to sound the same.
Yeah.
And even with the writing of the music, I kind of try to, like, dabble a little bit more to kind of fit within the wheelhouse of who's all in the band. You know, like maybe sometimes certain types of technical elements that I put in Perdition Temple, technical things that I wouldn't do in Perdition Temple, I've kind of like made an allowance to do in the Malefic Throne stuff, because it's like, you know, maybe some of the people that follow what those guys do in their other bands, they're more accustomed to expecting that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, so this is an opportunity that I can go there and make that kind of my own thing as well. You know, plus John, you know, I mean, both Ronnie and John between the two bands are fucking phenomenal drummers. You know, and they can come up with parts and track through parts and get the shit done with ease in a very short time. But they really approach things completely fucking different. You know, so with John's drumming, you know, there's a big difference from what you would hear from the music in Perdition Temple. So with this new Malefic Throne coming out, and by the time the new Perdition Temple comes out, it's like, yeah, they're both going to be blow your fucking face off metal, but it's not going to be like part A and part B of the same band. You know, I made sure that there's enough disparities between the two to keep that separation. Do you,
Perdition Temple, you guys did I think I asked you this last one too, I can't remember what it was though. You guys did some shows with Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, how many shows did you do?
It was like about 35 shows.
Oh, that many? Oh shit,
yeah,
okay, I was thinking it's like 10 or something.
No, it was about 35 shows, and it was with the days off, it was about just about 6 weeks long.
So having said that, my initial guess is that would definitely help. Would you say so, like with the fan base and getting new fans?
Yeah, and I think it really helped with the exposure for the Sacraments album that came out pretty much right after.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like there was a really big increase in awareness of the band with that album.
So having said that, as I give this recommendation to, you know, bands that I'm friends with or on the label, I try to, if they can, I think it'd be easiest for you, not easy, but easier than most, I would say. I've got some other guys I talk to, because you know a lot of these guys, either friends with or worked with, and that is for like Malefic Throne and also Perdition Temple again, for the new albums, like hit some of these guys up, like maybe try to do a tour with Deicide or Cannibal again, Nile, like as an solid opening act, because I think that shit makes a huge difference. And really, where I noticed it made a difference, it could just be coincidence, it could be I'm full of shit, it could be I'm just seeing shit, is when Cannibal Corpse brought on specifically Christian, and when they brought on Immolation, this is the early 2000s, and when they brought on Deeds of Flesh. Each three band, right after each tour, immediately I noticed each more band was more popular, within a year's time.
You've pretty much got it right on the head. Like take Christian, for example.
Yeah.
Now, when they toured with us for the first time in the U.S. with the Cannibal Corpse Incantation,
it was Satyricon, right? Oh no,
this was before that. This was in '99.
Okay.
It was an Incantation tour with us, and Christian was their first time in the U.S. While they were on that tour, they met up with one of the reps from Century Media. So their very next album was
Conquerors Armageddon on Century Media. Yeah. So, but even when they toured with that, it was a year before. It was like with you guys, it's Satyricon, right?
That was after.
Yeah. But even then,
that was in 2000.
No, but even then, they still weren't as, because I was at that. It was a year or so, or maybe that same year. Then they went on the Cannibal tour, and then right after that, it was immediate. Everything after that, they were more popular.
Yeah, and then they started popping up a lot. I remember they did a lot of support spots with Morbid Angel.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So I mean, I think you guys, it's Morbid Angel. It seems like I wouldn't, me personally, I mean, just what I noticed could be a bias. I wouldn't hit them up. It seems like their stock dropped dramatically because of all the lineup changes. You got this dumbass I Am Morbid shit going on. It's just only Trey now. I mean, seems like he's 1 foot in the grave, one on a banana peel. It just seems like a lot of people don't go to Morbid Angel shows as much as what am I hearing. I could be wrong. That's just kind of what I'm hearing. That Ilu Divum album really kind of dropped their stock, it seemed like.
And those real gear shift albums that have happened throughout metal history, you know, and I guess from that band, that was definitely a gear shift, to say the least. You know, I'm sure the band has had reverberations from that.
Yeah.
You know, to this day, I mean, that album is like over a decade ago.
Oh yeah, it was a while ago now. Yeah, a long while ago.
You know, I mean, look what happened with Celtic Frost.
Yeah.
In like, what was it, 88? They put out
Cold Lake. Yeah.
And, you know, to this day, you know, there's still the presence of those kind of albums. You know, but, you know, I mean, these things happen. I mean, I guess that was their choice, their direction to go at the time, and, you know, it happens.
But do you think it'd be possible then, like yourself, to tour with like a Cannibal or Mayhem or a Nile, like a big, like, do you think it's based on who you know? Do you think it'd be possible to say something? Hey, like, can we be an opening act for whatever 60 shows or whatever? Or like, for example, Deicide, they're going to be touring for the new album. I'm not saying get on that, but just use that as an example. Is that possible that who you know knows? Be like, let's get Malefic or Perdition Temple tour for with Deicide. Is that possible? You're like, hey, that's out of I have no idea. Like, because I think that would help big time.
You know, one of the obstacles that like my projects have, you know, which I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm just not hip enough, is, you know, we don't really have like a booking agency handling us, because nowadays everything is very what's the word I'm looking for, roster oriented. A lot of the when you see most of the tours going around, and if you look at the logos that you'll see on the flyers, it's like a handful of booking agencies around the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you go to these websites, you'll see all the bands, and then if you look back and you see all the flyers for tours, it's pretty much just a curated list where they just pick bands from their roster. Like back when we were touring with in the years when Angel Corpse was most active, it was a little bit different. The booking agencies reached out to bands, or a band was looking for a tour, then said, hey, we're looking for support acts. And then they reached out to bands, maybe based on the bands that the headliner was interested in having. Now it's like a lot of these booking agencies seem to have this tight roster that they've got, and then they're just like, oh, here's our headliner, and we'll assign XYZ bands to go with it. And that's it. That's why you see sometimes the same fucking bands playing your city 4 fucking times a year. That doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. And I don't feel bad that I'm not part of that fucking club.
Yeah.
You know, so if the invites come, to answer your question, if the invites come, if the interest is there, if the timing works, if the finances work, yes.
Okay.
You know, that's the way I.
Yeah. I just figured because, like yourself, you at least, like, you don't know Cannibal's booking agent, but your friends know.
Actually, I do, but.
Oh, but what, okay, but someone like even like Deicide, maybe you're friends with Steve or something. Maybe you're not. I don't know. I'm just.
Some of these guys, it's maybe bump elbows. Once in a while.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
But yeah, you don't have their cell number or nothing like that.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, are you guys, like, regardless then, like for especially Malefic, like, you guys never done an actual tour, have you?
Just haven't even done a show.
No shows? Oh, I thought you'd done at least a couple. Never show. I didn't know that. I thought you'd done
at least. I mean, we're gonna see what we can do after the Agonia release comes out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're gonna want to make good on their investment.
Yeah.
So they're gonna want us to do something. You know, and they're from Poland, so they're in contact with some of the real long-term event coordinators from over there. So we've got some.
Well, real good with that fucking Philip over there at Agonia can set up with a tour with fucking. Somebody kind of knows him. It's Vader or Behemoth, and put Malefic on with them.
That would be nice. I've known Peter for fucking years.
Yeah.
It was great. Vader had played Tampa just maybe a couple months ago, and I hadn't seen him face to face for probably over a decade. And it's like we chatted for a couple minutes, and it was like we had just spoken before.
Yeah, he's a guy I want to interview for the channel. I'm sure I've met him several times. I'm sure he'd say yes. But that last tour they did with Christian, there was no Cleveland. Like the closest was Detroit, which is 3.5 hours, but it was like a Tuesday night. But I'm not driving on. I got to be up at, at 6 a.m. I'm not fucking driving 3.5 hours. And maybe I would if he told me in advance, bro, meet me at 6. I'll definitely do a video. I'd be like, maybe. Then I would not. I hope I'll go there and hope he does it. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's not worth 3.5 hours on a Tuesday for me.
And it's not so common either. Like down in Tampa, most shows don't come down. There's not a lot of the big tours. If you look at the routing, it's like Atlanta's about as far south, east.
Really, you think it'd come? You figure like,
and then everybody, almost to a one, goes directly from Atlanta, like through the the Panhandle into like Louisiana and Texas, and then points.
Yeah, but
beyond.
Tampa and Orlando and shit, that's got to have like big scenes, right?
You'd think.
But if a band plays there, like no one's coming out. If Vader plays there, it's gonna be dead.
Shows do okay.
Oh, okay. I would.
But the thing is there's just not fucking enough of them. There's not enough of them, and I think a lot of the younger fans, there's just not enough presence of a consistency of shows and tours coming through that makes people come out and then really make it a thing.
Yeah.
Unless it's like some huge fucking tour that's gonna feel like a football stadium. You're gonna have maybe a good night is gonna be a couple hundred people.
Okay.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great tour packages that I see go around the States, and it's like I'm not going to drive up 12 hours to fucking Georgia from Tampa, on a Wednesday night, take 3 days off of work to see some fucking band, even if it's my favorite shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just the way it is.
Well, who's more, if anybody, a band that's active, don't say something like Mayhem and Guys Are Dead or something like that, but if like around, is there any bands, for example, me, yesterday was Hemorrhage, of a band that I've never seen, that is on my top bucket I still want to see. Is there any band still currently that you've never seen that's still around that you'd want to see, that you've never seen before? Is there anybody?
Oh, God. There's probably a ton, but to think of one right off the top of
my head. Oh, top one. Who is it? Who is somebody? Like another band I want to see I've never seen is Denial of God. That's another one for me.
Putting me on the spot.
You've probably seen most, like most of the bands I like. I've seen.
I've seen a lot of things. It's like trying to really narrow it down. It's tough. I listen to so much shit. It's just like. I don't really. Not to sound like a dick, but I kind of don't have one.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a bucket list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I saw the bands at the time that I did, and it mattered then when I was like 16 and 17.
Yeah.
And then that's like what molded me to doing what I'm doing. And it's like I've seen some great stuff, and I'm sure I'll see great fucking shows going forward. But it's like, is there anything specific that I'm really dying to see?
Yeah.
It's like...
No, for me. There's very little for me. Yeah, no, there's very little for me. But as I said, that's not, Hemorrhage was one. Denial of God be another. I've still to date never seen Destroyer 666, believe that or not. So they're on there. Yeah, there's not many others. I think, I could probably, if I sat down and think about it, a couple others. Oh, Bird Flesh from Sweden. General Surgery from Sweden. I'd like to see them.
That's a thing, too, though. Somebody could almost take that as a baited question. Like, what's a legacy band that you want to see?
No, it's gonna be legacy. Give me a one-album band.
Nowadays, there's a lot of legacy brands, but not bands.
Yeah.
You got one semi-retired guy that's the last fucking man standing.
I know. Oh, I know.
It's fucking like old dead lineup.
It's a cover band
that decides they want to come back. And we're back.
Yeah.
That whole shit.
So you know about all that crap too. You notice it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I could throw a name in there and say, oh yeah, I'd love to see that band, but am I fucking seeing that band? I don't think so.
I'll throw the name out there if you want to hear one, since you don't want to say any. I'm sure you agree. Granted, I'm going to see them. I'll interview the only original guy, is Sinister. They're playing Cleveland, I think, or eventually they're going to be doing a tour, and the only original guy is the AAD or Odd. He played drums for them, but he doesn't even play drums, he does vocals, and there's no other original guys. I'm like, technically it's not Sinister. I'll go see it because I heard they're only played the first 3 records. And I love those. I love the first 5 records. But are you really seeing Sinister?
Bands, a like literally like less than one hand. You know, and I actually missed the set the other night, but you know, I could give a lot of credit to something like Sacrifice, because I think all but one member.
I think it's except one guy. Yeah. I think so. I think it is just one. Yeah, nah.
But the other two that I could give a lot of credit to is Autopsy, because they're all but one guy. It's the core members are still there.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is when the Autopsy sort of came back, like about 15 years ago now, I guess when that's old, I didn't really pay attention because I just figured, whatever. You know, and it was only in about the last couple of years that I kind of like checked out some of those later albums. I love them. Even up to the most recent ones, I think they're really fucking good. And the fact that it's the core members still writing the music. And the other one, and these guys are old as fuck, and they're still fucking almost all the core members, is Satan from the UK.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, those guys are just as fucking old as like any of the guys, if not older than some of the guys.
Well, they're definitely a we're back band. Satan.
Yeah,
they're definitely like, because they were gone for years.
Yeah, they were gone. They actually came back after they started, some years after, and then again. But the core lineup is there, and I think it was like maybe the bass player is a different person, but like all the main songwriters and vocalists are all still part of the band, and they still bring it. They played live in Tampa about 6 months ago with Venom and Corpse. You know, and it was a fucking bang up set. You know, and I mean they're not just playing like lazy heavy metal. No, they're playing like shit that gives like Killer's era Iron Maiden a run for the money. And these guys are like in their fucking 70s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's the kind of shit that I respect. So it's like I'm really glad I saw those. Yeah. Maybe they weren't bucket list bands, but I was really fucking glad to see that set from them.
What are we at, Cameron? What kind of time we at? Lindsay, what kind of time we at? Okay, cool. So last time, I'm kind of curious. I've asked a couple guys like Lenny and shit like that. You've already done a video with me. How many, like, do people come up to you and say anything about it, that you did it, and liked it, loved it, make any comments? Like, when you go to other towns, like
some people did say that they saw the other video and that they didn't know the band at the time, you know. So I mean, it did definitely made some kind of a wave.
Yeah, because some people like Don and Mulder and Profanatica Lenny's, like, dude, every town I play in, people mention the videos. Like, I'm like, really? I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I don't know if it was just them or who else is saying shit. That's like you said, you were before. I think I did Lenny's first one and stuff. I think it was before him. Yeah.
So,
He was before the Don and Scott video.
Oh well, it was the same weekend though. Of the day, yeah. The Metal Threat, but yeah, the Don and Scott, that was the same weekend though. Was that Metal? I guess it was a Metal Threat. We did yours. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So just over a year ago now.
Yeah.
So, well, is there anything you want to add, or like you said, Malefic Throne coming up and New Perdition Temple? Is there anything you want to let them know about?
Yeah,
shows,
I mean, hopefully with the finishing of those records, both of them almost back to back, and one's mixed, and you know, depending on what your pressing schedule is, once you receive the masters and Agonias, you know, maybe.
You have a title for the new album that maybe you want to shout, or no?
Yeah, the title of the new one is going to be called Malign Apotheosis.
Okay.
You know,
you always got the
ultimate becoming of darkness.
You always got the words, Gene. You bust out the intelligent words, the intelligent
got,
encyclopedia.
You know, I mean, no, fuck it, I'll drop spoilers. I mean, there's spoilers? Like the new cover art's a painting from Daniel Cookera, the guy that did the Sacraments album. And I've seen the sketch that he did.
So it's not AI art?
Fuck no.
Did you like the new Deicide, or did they listen to it? Or
I heard it. You know, it sounds like what probably, if anything, compared to like some of the albums they've done maybe over the last decades, it might sound more like older albums than some of the ones they maybe did in the early 2000s, where they kind of seem to almost not sound like the same band anymore.
So you didn't like it, but you didn't love it, but you didn't hate it.
I've never been a big follower of this stuff. You know, I mean,
even like first Deicide and shit, you don't like?
I do like that one. Out of all of them, that's probably the one that I like the most, because it's like it seemed like they were going in a bunch of different directions on that one. The way they wrote songs on that one, if you listen to everything from Legion thereafter, they don't have that same kind of variances in their songs. like tunes like from that first album called like Lesphirion, or there's a tune called Mephistopheles from that first
Mephistopheles
album.
on it, yep.
Listen to
Dead by
those
Dawn.
tunes. Find me a song on a later album that's even in the ballpark of those songs. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I always thought was missing.
Yeah.
From later albums.
Well, you at least
Not
thought
that
they
I
were respectable.
disliked them,
Yeah, you didn't.
but-
You definitely didn't dislike them enough to not check their albums out. You kept checking them out.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I've been. You know, I believe in my CDs. I probably have maybe up to about the fourth album or so.
Yeah.
But you know, they had some good moments.
Yeah. Well, so you're not a super fan like me then. Because I loved the new album. I thought it was fucking great. Yeah. Hope everybody's tearing up on the cover. So you got actual artwork, not AI art.
Yeah.
So any other spoilers, or that it?
No, that's all the news at this point.
All the fucking Gene news. There you have it. Goddamn it. Later.